Good evening, everyone. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 21st business meeting of the Village of Cornwall and Hudson Village Board of Trustees. Before we begin, the first thing on our agenda is a public hearing. And the public hearing is in order to abate the abatement of property maintenance violations, to order repairs to be made to an unsafe structure, and if the maintenance or repairs are to be made by the village, to charge all the costs associated with the work to the owner and made a lien on the premises, and for the potential condemnation of the property located at 10 Washington Street. So, I'm going to ask to open up the public hearing. May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, first thing I'm going to ask is the clerk to read the public hearing notice.
This was in the Cornwall Local on Thursday, April 17th, 2025. The Village of Cornwall and Hudson legal notice, Village of Cornwall and Hudson notice of public hearing. Please take note that the Village Board of the Village of Cornwall on Hudson will hold a public hearing on April 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be at Village Hall, 325 Hudson Street, Cornwall and Hudson, regarding Chapter 61 of the Village Code entitled Unsafe Buildings, quote unquote, and Chapter 120 of the Village Code, Property Maintenance, end quote. With respect to property located at Section 107, Block 5, Lot 10, more commonly known as 10 Washington Street, parentheses, the premises, end parentheses, to determine, in accordance with Village Code, whether the Village Board shall make the necessary repairs to the premises, clean up the premises, and/or make the building safe in compliance with the order to remedy and charge the total cost of the property owner. And please take further notice that the Village Board of the Village of Cornwall and Hudson, in accordance with New York State Property Maintenance Code, Section 103.2 at SEQ, will provide the owners and occupants of said property with an opportunity to be heard concerning the possible condemnation of the property. Written comments may be submitted prior to or at the public hearing. Oral comments may be made at the public hearing. Interested people may appear in person or by agent. The Village Board is the lead agency pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SEQRA, for this Type 2 action. The Village of Cornwall and Hudson will make every effort to ensure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodation should contact the village clerk. Dated April 7th, 2025, by order of the Village Board of the Village of Cornwall on Hudson, Doris Wickizer, Village Clerk.
Okay, so just to explain what's going on, and then Joe, our attorney for the village, will give you some more details in regards to the procedure. So, as explained in the public hearing, we're here to consider three matters. First, a hearing concerning the order to remedy and repair the unsafe building located at 10 Washington Street pursuant to Village Code Chapter 61. Number two, a hearing concerning the failure to comply with an order to remedy the property maintenance violations for 10 Washington Street pursuant to Chapter 120 of the Village Code. And number three, a hearing to consider pursuant to the New York State Property Maintenance Code whether the Village of Cornwall and Hudson shall make the premises located at 10 Washington Street safe, or whether it should be condemned. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe McKay to take you through some more detail on the procedures.
Well, Mr. Mayor, you pretty much explained that there are really three components to the public hearing. One being procedures under the unsafe building provisions of the village code. We're also considering the property maintenance provisions of the village code and the property maintenance provisions of the New York State Property Maintenance Code. The purpose of tonight would be to have the code enforcement officer provide you with some of the information that he's gathered after his inspection of the property. And just for the record, by way of background, the village has previously commenced action in our local town justice court to remedy some of these situations. The owner or occupant has never come to court. And as I've kind of explained to the board, that leaves the local judge with a conundrum. The only thing that the judge can really do in that situation is issue a ruling on default and potentially fine the owner or the occupant. But the local justice court doesn't have equity jurisdiction. The local justice court can't compel the owner or the occupant to clean up the property or to make any other repairs that may be required to make the property safe. So under the village code, two different chapters of our village code, there's a procedure that we're conducting right now where the board can hold a public hearing concerning whether the building is unsafe and needs to be repaired. Also hold a public hearing to determine whether or not the maintenance, essentially the exterior maintenance of the property, the lawn and the exterior portions of the property, will be remedied by the owner or the occupant, or whether the board will make a determination that it will retain the services of either a contractor or its own Department of Public Works to clean and maintain the exterior portions of the property. The third issue that we're addressing tonight is also property maintenance, but that's under the New York State Property Maintenance Code. And in certain situations, this is not a quote, but if a premises becomes essentially a danger to the public or uninhabitable, my words, that's not the word in the code, but under those types of emergency circumstances, the code enforcement officer can issue an order to condemn premises and to remove the individuals residing in the premises. So I think this would be the point at which maybe the building inspector can present his findings to you. And I would just make the point that for the record, the building inspector had previously provided a written report to the board, which was later revised after he did a personal inspection of the property. The code enforcement officer also provided the board with at least 2 videos of the interior of the property based upon his inspection, and those should be made a part of the record as well. My understanding is that there's a third video that we have now, which is essentially a recent interaction with the occupant.
It's just service
At the
of
time,
process.
it is service of process. So those documents, I think at least need to be reflected in the record. I think we can hear from the building inspector, code enforcement officer, ask him any questions you may have about his report. And then we'll simply go forward from there, and then you can hear from the public.
2 things I wanted to point out. One is the occupant of the building reached out to our office today and advised that she would not be able to make it to an illness, so she won't be here tonight. The second thing is that I know there's quite a few people here. This public hearing, you will have an opportunity to make a statement, a comment if you would like. When we get to that point, after Manny does his presentation, we have the opportunity to ask some questions. When we get to that point, I'll just ask you to come up, state your name, your address. We usually try to keep it to 3 minutes. You can go a little bit longer as long as you're advancing the ball, so to speak. So I'd appreciate you adhering to that as much as possible. So, with that being said, Manny, would you please come forward?
Good evening, everyone. I agree 100% with counsel. He gave a very well-detailed summary of the whole situation. But just to keep it a little brief, I'll go over it real quickly. On January 21st, 2025, with the assistance of the Cornwall Police Department and with an administrative search warrant that I obtained from the town of Cornwall, I entered the premises of 10 Washington Street for the purpose of conducting an inspection of the premises. Pursuant to Village Code Section 61-4, it is my opinion and determination as the code enforcement officer that the premises located at 10 Washington Street shall be deemed to be unsafe for human habitation, and the premises shall be vacated immediately until the violation listed on the report that I generated on that day, which is attached and given to you, have been completed and complied with. The building was determined to be unsafe for many reasons, the council mentioned, the New York State Property Maintenance Code and our own local code. It's an extreme hazard not only to the occupants but to the emergency responder should they have to respond to that premises, whether it's the police department, fire department, or EMS. Therefore, I request that the board make a resolution or go through the process of this public hearing to vacate the building and make it safe.
So Manny, for those in the public, those online listening, can you just give a brief recitation of the facts of when this started and why we're here now?
It started back in late 2022 for a complaint. One of the neighbors within the area complained of the poor maintenance of the property. Eventually, I received the complaint and I went out there, and sure enough, there was a lot of property maintenance issues on the exterior of the property, which at that time I was able to contact the property owner, and she took care of some of it here and there. Once in a while, she would cut the grass. She, will do a little bit at a time. I started working with her slowly as I saw that there were some issues, and her not being able to take care of this situation so quickly because of the size of the violation or the many violations that were there. And that went several months until they got to the point where I said, look, I'm going to have to write you a written report of inspection as a violation because you're not complying quickly enough. Furthermore, the problem seems to be growing rather than going away.
And this just pertains to the property maintenance on the outside of the building?
That is correct. I had no idea what was going inside at that time.
Okay. So continue. Go ahead.
As we continue on having a relationship with the property owner back and forth with many, many meetings that we had over the phone, in person, knocking on the door, I was able to kind of take a peek of the inside, and I noticed the condition was really, really bad there. Then I brought her to court, which she never showed up to court. We went to court several times at the town.
When was just so for the purposes of everyone here, when was the first time you went to court?
That was in September of 2024.
Okay.
And
that was you went to court, town court, and that was for the purposes of?
Remedying the property maintenance issues on the exterior of the property.
Still on the exterior? Okay.
And, then after that, we decided to ask the judge for a search warrant so that I can go inside the property. And that's when we discovered the situation inside, which is really, really bad.
And throughout this process, particularly with respect to the administrative search warrant, were you advising the owner of the steps that you were taking?
Every time, yes, 100%. She was clearly informed of the whole situation, what would happen if she didn't comply.
And each time when you visited her, did she allow you access inside the building?
No, she would not. She never allowed me access until we attained the search warrant. And even at that time, she didn't want to let us in.
When you executed the administrative search warrant, were you alone?
No, sir. I was with one of the police officers from the village.
And how long did it take you to search the premises, the inside?
Half an hour approximately. Actually, no, inside we were not there that long, maybe 10 minutes. We were not able to navigate the property. It was impossible to navigate.
Was the owner cooperative the day that you did executed the search warrant?
She was not.
When you say that, meaning,
She didn't want to let us in. She was. It took me about a good 5 minutes talking back and forth with her to give me access. She kept saying no, no, no. She didn't want me to come in. Then she kept me waiting outside for another 5 minutes to do whatever else she did there, and eventually she opened the door and kind of let us in.
all right, for the purposes of the record too, besides we have it in writing, we all have it in writing, but can you describe, first, going back to the property maintenance on the outside, can you describe, you already described some of the grass that was overgrown by code. I believe you can go up to 12 inches, or is it 14?
12 inches and
12
up, I
inches,
believe,
okay.
so.
Can you describe, for the people in the public hearing, what were the problems on the outside, and then tell us what you saw on the inside?
On the outside, yes, definitely the grass, the bushes that were definitely overgrowing. And then she's accumulating a lot of properties, a lot of items throughout the property, garbage, tables, chairs, toys, you name it. Plenty of those items. There's 2 unregistered vehicles parked in the driveway that are also a hazard. The property ID number, you can barely see it. The building, the exterior of the building is dilapidated, chipping paint, open holes in different areas, rodents, plenty of rodents, rats, raccoons.
Now describe for us the day that you executed the search warrant, which was January 21st. Can you describe what the inside of the building looked like?
Yeah, the door, you can barely open the door, not even a halfway, maybe a quarter of the way can be opened. And I was able to squeeze myself in through that opening. And inside the house, there's like a trail that I can walk sideways. I couldn't even walk straight, I had to walk sideways. Piles of items, different types throughout the entire area. As I was walking, things were falling behind me. And getting out was even worse because by then, now the trail wasn't even there.
And we've all had the opportunity to, during this time period where you were executing the search warrant inside the building, were you videotaping it?
I was videotaping, yes.
And was Officer Capsack, who accompanied you, was he also doing the same?
Yes, sir.
With respect to the trail, if you had to describe how wide the trail was through the building, can you give me an estimate?
8 to 10 inches, 12 at the most.
And with respect to, you advised that there were items stacked up alongside. Could you tell me how far up the wall most of the trail, most of the items were stacked up?
Almost to the ceiling. I mean, inches from the ceiling.
Was there running water in the building?
No, sir.
Do you know when the last time there has been running water in the building?
I'm not sure, but I could check with the water department. It has been for quite a while now.
Was there, was the gas line working? Was that shut off?
That is shut off, yes. I took a picture of that, the lock on the meter.
Do you have any idea of when that service was terminated?
I've been going to the property since 2022 and has been shut since then.
Is there, what about electric?
There is electric.
Do you know how many people actually live inside the premises?
2, to my knowledge.
Was there any room that had actually some room for the person to reside, meaning sleeping in?
No, there was from the trail in the hallway to the trail in the bedroom leading to the bed, and then just room for enough for somebody to lay down.
Were you able to gain access to the basement via the inside of the building?
No, it's
And why
blocked.
was that? Why
It's
couldn't you?
blocked with items, tables, chair, clothing. That's pretty much up to the ceiling.
So it blocked the doorway to get into the basement?
Completely, yeah. The doorway and to the living room as well.
Were access to the windows blocked also?
Yes.
Okay. Now, going to the outside of the building, did you attempt to gain access to the basement, which is also, I think, kind of a garage too, right? The basement is also considered a garage?
Yes, sir.
Because of the level? Did you try to gain access to that, to the
I had to
basement?
get into the garage door in the front. That was the only way we could. So we found that we might be able to access, but it was locked from within side. And looking through the glass on the door, you could see that it's also full of items.
While you're still on the premises, you inspected the two vehicles, correct?
Yes, sir.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you said both of them were unregistered.
I'm registered.
And when was the last time when did their registration expire?
In 2021.
When you looked inside the vehicles, did you see anything?
A lot of items, even food, that was left there for quite a long time, you could tell.
And how long were you on the premises, inspecting the premises on January 21st?
45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. I'm sorry to bogart the mic, but does anybody have any questions?
I have a question
Yes.
for the board. ADA Kane. Manny, you had prepared a written report for the board, correct?
Yes.
My recollection is that you had prepared one and then you had prepared a revised or amended report. I think it was dated March 24th of 2025.
Yes, originally I prepared one January 24, 2025, then I revised it March 24, 2025.
Right.
And that was transmitted to the village board, correct? And I just want to make sure if the village board can respond. I know we don't ordinarily do this, but I want to make sure that all the board members receive Manny's revised report?
Yes.
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 You had an opportunity to review it?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and then Manny, also, you indicated that you had searched the premises with Officer Capsack. There were two videos, as I understand it?
Yes, one for myself and one for Officer Capsa.
Okay. And those videos were also provided to the village board, correct, as part of your report? Okay. I just want to make sure, again, that the village board members did receive those two videos.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and you had an opportunity to review them?
You had an opportunity
Okay.
to
All right.
review.
Thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions for Manny before I open up to the public?
Not from me. This was all pretty thorough. The videos were illuminating.
Just for background, this situation predates Manny by quite a bit, so, just for the record.
Okay, Manny, thank you.
Thank you as well.
So now I'll open up to public comment. Would anyone like to make a comment? Sure, sir, grab the podium there. Please state your name and your address.
Jim Peters, 9 Washington Street. I'm directly across the street. And you can imagine what we've been going through. It's good to see Judge Joe. Remember me from Washingtonville days?
That's right. I didn't realize you were across the
So
street.
when I have a history, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You said your last name is Peters,
Peters,
correct?
yes. Trustee Brain and I have emailed a few times. I was in direct contact with the former mayor. Congratulations on.
Thank you.
I had a lot I wanted to say tonight, but Manny covered just about everything. You've seen the videos, I'm assuming. You've read the reports. I wanted to add a face. I have my family with me. And a little bit of the human side, our story, to what we've dealt with. Some of you may know, I don't know if the former mayor told you, I'm a terminal cancer patient. I've been doing cancer for 8 years now. The effect the reason I bring it up is across the street has had a direct impact on my health. The stress, the worry, the rodents, I wanted there are things in these reports and these pictures and videos that you can't see. The smells, right? The smell of raw sewage. And I don't know if, man, if you were able to see, I don't know if they're storing their feces in the home or.
The smell was very difficult to read what was
Yeah.
inside.
It's my suspicion that they're storing their feces in the home. I don't know what else they could be doing with it. You know, you can't see in the pictures the sadness I feel when I look in the yard and see toys of my children's that I threw out years ago, or a pot that I threw away that's associated with a family dinner, my first family dinner after my brother committed suicide. I threw these things away because I don't want to see them anymore. And I'm forced to stare at them every day for years now. So I just thought it was important. I had a whole list of items, and I don't think I need to go down that whole list now. You guys you're working on it, and thank you so much for that. Manny, thank you for all your hard work. And that's it.
We will do the best we can. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters, appreciate it. Is there anyone else would like to say anything? So, just so you know, this is, look, you've endured quite some time with this. And we appreciate your patience on this. The wheels of justice seem to grind slowly, and particularly in your case. Right now, what we plan to do tonight is we're going to keep this public hearing open till next month, 3 weeks, through our work session, to provide the opportunity for the owner to present her case. Okay? After that, the next thing that happens is if she shows up, she presents her side of the facts. If she doesn't, in either case, the hearing will most likely be closed at that time. And the next step for this board is to issue findings and determination. The findings are the facts that were presented here, are the facts that Manny presented to us tonight, which also includes the videotape the 3 videotapes that he had taken. Then after that, Joe can explain in more detail, but after we do the findings and determination, there'll be a portion of the law we have to provide the owner the opportunity to remediate, repair, at least concerning the exterior of the building. There's another path we have to take with respect to the interior of the building. The reason why I'm telling you this is because we're taking it step by step. We have to provide her proper notice. Like for instance, for tonight, we had to make sure that Manny personally served her of the public hearing. So we're going to go through that again, okay? I just want you to understand that we have to take this step by step. We're being very careful about it, but in the end, we know what the goal is here, and that is to have the premises cleaned up either by the owner. We're talking about the interior and the exterior, and if it's not done by her, then it's going to be done by the village or by the village via a contractor. I'm explaining this to you because you've been very, very patient at this point. I'm just going to ask you to continue to extend that patience because we're going to get this done. It's going to, we have our next step next month, and then the month after that, we'll see what happens. But the bottom line, it will get done. So just provide us some more patience. I know it's already been extended, but we will get there. Okay? Yes.
I'm glad I came tonight because I can see and hear we're on track. So I get that these things take time, but I really feel like this is finally on track. And
Yes.
there was one last thing that I wanted to address, and I feel like this hasn't been said. We're talking about codes and my problems, and what we're really, what seems to be missing here is this isn't good for them either. They're living in these terrible, horrific conditions that they need to be put someplace safe and secure. This is so terrible.
No, and,
Go ahead, Dave.
well, and, I mean, all of you people who've lived there for years know the whole situation. This goes way back.
Yes.
And we got zero support from the county on this, from the beginning. I mean, it's an unhealthy situation. It could be classified as possibly a mental issue, a mental health issue, or at least a sanitary issue. We got very little, no support from the county, which is frustrating for us.
And Mr. Peters, I'm glad you brought it up because I was insinuating it, but you actually brought it out, and that's this. We're not doing this in a vacuum. It's not just cleaning the interior and the exterior. We're looking at it holistically. So that's why I'm saying we're going step by step. We're including her, the owner of the premises in regards to this, in regards to how we want to handle this. So it includes obviously looking out for the best interests of her and her health too, as well as accommodating the community. So that's all part of it, okay?
And I'll just add one thing to that, Jim, so you understand. I've had a lot of discussions with the board and with Manny about trying to get services, social services or mental health services. We didn't start now. This started months and months ago. And I don't mean to make it a comment on Orange County. I guess it's more of a societal issue. You know, where do people, if they have to leave their home, the village is put in the position of making them homeless, so to speak, if there's no place for them to go. We've grappled with the issue of whether we need to try to get some mental health intervention for them. And again, where? Who provides that service? We've talked about this over and over again for a long period of time. And that's also why I think you can see, because with your background, we're trying to go step by step, follow the code exactly, because they're entitled to due process. Because if somewhere along the line we get to a point where the board makes an order, we're going to be entering someone's property to clean it up. That's the outside. Potentially entering the interior of their property. Okay? And given the videos, this is probably a situation, if it goes to that extent, the village will have to hire some kind of specialist to go in with the masks and protective gear. So this is, yeah, I mean, so the board, they're entitled to respect and their privacy, but this is now a public matter, right? Because it impacts the other village residents. But Mayor's right. If you just, we're gonna continue the process. We are doing our best to have help for the occupants too. You know, we're not doing this in a vacuum, as the mayor says. So it's not going to be overnight, because even once the village finishes its process, it's likely that we may seek additional guidance from the court as far as removal from the home, mental health intervention. It's not going to be quick, for sure. But the process the process started a long time ago in town court. So they didn't show up. We got an administrative warrant. It got us here. Step by step by step, we're going to make sure that their rights are protected, and we're also going to try to make sure that the public's rights are protected as well, step by step.
Yes, Winnie. Could you come up? Can you come up to state your name and your address? Thank you.
It's actually pretty nice up here. I was, but if they,
Can you state your name and your address?
oh, I'm sorry, I'm Michelle Reese, and I live at 19 Washington Street. And it's been a long, many, many, many years of this. But I just have two questions in the regard to no natural gas in the house. How are they heating the house in the winter? What are they doing? And if there is no natural gas and they're using some other, form to heat the house, doesn't that become a hazard to them and everyone around them? That's was my, and then secondly, I was told that the water was shut off many years ago. So how does that, I just.
I think I'll turn the first question over to Manny, and that's in regards to how do you believe that she's been
Probably electric. Yeah, electric.
And that is a major hazard, of course, absolutely. All that stuff was videotaped, right? That's what they do.
Yeah, that's scary in itself. Yeah.
And in regards to your second question, Michelle, is the water. Manny, is their belief is that the water has been shut off? Now, it's been shut off since you started inspecting the place, right? And they believe Michelle believes it's earlier than
There
that.
was something in the Cornwall local when, right? I mean, you guys remember that, right? Wasn't there something when the water was shut off? This was years ago,
Yeah.
I recall, like several years ago. I think it was something like the basement had, it was an astronomical water bill because there was water running.
I do remember
unbeknownst
this.
to them or something,
Yes.
and then they shut the water off.
Right.
The water department, because they never paid the bill. But that was, I don't remember.
Do you know exactly, Mike, when the water was shut off, or approximately?
Yeah, it was November of 2020.
Water from the Moore's house.
Did you hear that, Michelle? November of 2020, the water was shut off.
Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
so. But what Jane was saying, they were taking water from somewhere else.
The neighbors, they were
Yeah,
filling
neighbors,
buckets
yeah.
and had the neighbors
Probably
on their
buckets to
application.
flush.
From their spigot, outside spigot, understood. Okay,
Okay, I didn't know that
I'm
part.
next door, so I saw it.
okay.
All right, well, thank
All right,
you. I
thank
just
you,
was-
Michelle. We
I'm
appreciate
just
it.
wondering, like, how are they
Yeah.
existing? Again, getting back, I mean, the whole story is tragic.
It's sad. It's very sad.
And it's very sad, and there's a young man living in that house, and, just for that reason alone, someone should help,
We will
Right.
get, we will do the best we can.
yeah.
And
Anyway,
I
thank
think,
you.
and to, one last statement, and to Joe's point, he was pointing out that we're gonna take our steps, and it may include further court action, because it's gonna go beyond the town court. From my perspective, because of that, I think the county will know that we're in a very serious situation. So I think that will prompt them to maybe become more engaged in regards to the outreach for the owner. So we're hoping that happens, and we're going to do our best to engage with the county to provide her services. So, yes, ma'am.
Elaine Lopez, 14 Washington Street. I am directly next to Kathy Sudo's house. Is there anything that the public can do to quicken this process, write letters, anything like that?
No, I would say no, Ms. Lopez. We're already getting there. I mean, we've already taken it to town court. There's only so much that they can do. We're going by the book, and this is the next step. So we're on our glide path. Yes, Manny, excuse me.
Maybe the general public can contact the county health department and other agencies and send complaint to them as well of your situation with that property. So they can see that it's not only coming from me, it's also coming from the general public.
Yeah. I guess I was taking it, writing letters to us.
I'll give you one,
but
yeah.
I think,
Department of Health.
you could submit them to Manny, and to his point, contacting the county, because they'll know that it's, they know that it's because you're complaining to them that now it's become a real problem. They're gonna see this in the next 30 to 60 days, that this is becoming a real problem.
And the other concern is she has a dog, or I think she has two.
She has at least one we saw.
And now there's clearly rodents in the house, and there's, raccoons. We have a skunk problem now. My dog got sprayed by a skunk 2 times within like 3 days, all coming from that yard. Their dog ran out last night because it's a triangle. It's the Peters, it's the Lopez's, it's the Reese, it's the Caseys, and it's the Sudos. And the dog ran across the street, was attacking their tiny little cashew. And it's like, you have to worry, is there rabies, is there bed bugs, is there, like, this dog is coming from filth. and attacking a clean, well-behaved little puppy, like, it's very concerning. It's concerning for me as a nurse for their health and well-being. They're clearly, when she says she's sick, oh, I'm sure she's sick. Whether it's, complete vitamin deficiency, rickets, and malnourished. There's no food. There's no, leafy greens and, fresh fruits and vegetables. There's no refrigeration. Now we found out there's no gas. I had no idea. I'm sure there's not even a stove if you could even find it. But it's deplorable conditions that we have had to live with, and yes, it's completely terribly sad, and that she destroyed lives, her sons and her parents. Her mother was dead in the house for days before she reported it, and even then she was trying to take the mother out into the yard because she did not want people come in. My husband and I were awake and sitting out on our screen porch, and the policemen and EMS or whoever came over, they came running out of the house, retching, vomiting into the bushes because of the stench of a dead human being for days. And this was years ago. What year did Lee die? 2020. Yes, so we're talking 5 years ago. So you can see, we don't usually come to these meetings, but
Completely
it's
understood.
very, very important.
Completely understood
And I
and fully
understand,
justified.
yeah, she has human rights, and I totally get that. I would love to see her and Connor removed and cared for, food, health care.
We're
all of
now,
that.
because of you and because of what Manny's done, we're cognizant of that, and we're balancing the two, and we will get there. We will get there, we guarantee you that.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment? Okay, thank you very much. So at this point, I'm just going to make a motion to, that the
Continue.
public hearing, be continued through our what's the date? May 12th? May 12th work session. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You're welcome to stay. I won't use Jim Galliano's term of, what did he say, dentistry without Novocaine. It's not the right? So, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Michelle. Sure. All right, take care. Thank you.
Remember that in 2020?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's when the shit really hit
Yes.
the fan. Shit really hit the fan.
Literally.
And then the county, what, we can't do anything, they told us.
Yeah,
We
no, first thing
can't.
is public comment. Yeah.
You kidding me? Nothing. I'm shocked that somebody didn't bring up the fact that.
All right, I
also
forget who does
Payson,
what
12
anymore
Payson.
in regards to reports. You do the, no, I do the treasurer, that's right, and then, okay. Okay, next up is public comment. Anybody from the public, such as Carol, would you like to make a comment? No? Well, it's good to see you back here, Carol.
Carol, we missed
Okay,
you.
yes, we did. All right. Then, seeing no public comment, moving on to monthly department reports. I'll start off with the treasurer's report. Bear with me 1 minute here. Okay. The treasurer's report for March 2025. With respect to the water report, the village, $311,420.34. The town was $270,042.60, totaling $581,462.94. With respect to expenditures, general fund expenditures, there was $345,193.18. With respect to water fund expenditures, $269,740.53. As for sewer, the expenditures was $1,894.91. There was $616,828.62 in anticipated expenditures through March. The balance collected for the sewer capital is $687,143.69. That is through March. And the total taxes collected through March was $2,426,226.50, which amounts to 80%. As for the NICLAS interest year-to-date, as of March 31st, 2025, was $8,680.68. It's Does anybody have any questions for Megan? I can pass them on to her. No? All right.
Just,
Yes.
the monthly water report at the top is revenues, right? So we would expect to see that 581, 462, 94 on the water fund revenue line? Or, like, that's where it should go, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that I've
Yeah, it looks
looked
like
at these with great detail, but in the past, I always get them in my mailbox and glance at them, but.
Mike has a comment.
Yes, Mike.
Typically, those are the open water balances. They're not the actual collected revenue. Those are what was billed out and we haven't collected yet.
Got it.
As I
Thank you.
understand it.
It used to be
Okay.
written that way.
So that explains why it's not, wouldn't be accurate to put it.
Used to be
Got it.
written that
Thank
way.
you.
All right. Who's up? Okay, thank you. Who's up for the building department? That is
I usually.
Dave.
Okay. Report for March 2025, Village of Cornwall and Hudson Building Department. Building permits issued 18. Certificate of compliance occupancy issued 5. On-site inspections 23. Violations 0. Stop work orders 0. Municipal searches 1. Solar panels 0. Fire inspection 6. Manny Carmona, Code Enforcement Officer. Busy month, huh, Manny?
Yes, sir, it's definitely picking up.
Anything to note, Manning?
Just to give you a quick overview with the 17-lot subdivision,
Right.
261 Shore Road. They were moving along at the planning board. The planning board last meeting circulated for lead agency, and now the applicants are going to the zoning board of appeals to request a variance on 4 lots that needs a lot width variance. Once they get that.
I didn't understand what you said, man. Need a
Lot-
what variance for
Lot
what?
width.
With,
Lot width.
That's-
Okay.
That's the only variance that is being requested at this time. Then eventually they'll be coming before you.
So after they go to the zoning board, they're going back to the planning board?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Manny, you said eventually they come before the village board?
Yes, sir.
For what piece of the pie?
For the road, it's a couple of issues that gotta come before you, the name of the road and a few other things. I'll be sending you an application showing you all of that when the times come, but it'll probably be about 3 months, 4 months before they come to you.
Is there opportunity for public comment either before the ZBA or us, or are there?
There
you
will
know-
be public comments, yeah, you'll have to have a public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just one other question, is there, to what degree has the site been documented thus far for the planning board? Do they have a site plan and, like, you know,
They do have a site plan with 17 lots that can be approved for the, by right.
and, sure, understood that it's not, understood that there is a process in which the village board doesn't get involved until it's time to get involved on the areas that we can weigh in on, but I guess I'll just be in touch with the planning board, because I'd love to see the
Okay.
documentation to the, yeah. All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, next up, fire department, Bill?
Sure. Are we changing it up?
Well,
It's
I know
okay if we are.
wait, is that the next one, fire department? Wait, do you normally do fire department?
I usually do.
Lori.
But we switched you up because you're a police department now. So, Bill,
Village of Cornwall and Hudson Board of Fire Commissioners, March 2025 Department Report. Category, automatic alarms, 1. Culinary mishaps, 1. 7 drills, 4 EMS calls, 1 meeting, 1 public service call, 2 standby calls, 11 training events, 4 calls for wires down, and 1 work detail. Total volunteer hours was 315, and the total number of events was 33. Commentary. Engine 412 is back from Firematic Supply and will go to Quality Auto Body for minor work on the hose bed. Thank you to firefighters Yang, Wilhelm, and Calamari for attending training in ladder company operations, interior firefighting operations, and arson investigation, respectively. Number 3, the Cornwall Yacht Club is again providing a slip for boat 416 this year. The boat will be in the water by mid-April. 4, the membership of Storm King Fire Engine Company Number 2 nominated Charles R. Quinn and Michael P. Traynor Sr. as Chief and Assistant Chief of the Cornwall on Hudson Fire Department. Number 5, the membership of Storm King Fire Engine Company Number 2 elected Thomas Trainer, Charles T. Quinn, and Wade Noller as captain, first lieutenant, and second lieutenant in the company. And that is from Rick Giampolo, Chair of the Board of Commissioners.
Any questions for Rick or Mike? No, Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie's not here. Where's, oh, Charlie, there you are. Oh, God, for Charlie. Sorry, Charlie.
Unassuming and
Oh, wow. But any questions?
The boat I saw Saturday still at the firehouse, is that in yet?
Not in yet. It'll be in very near future. The cool weather slowed us down.
And the kayaking is not, what's the water temperature for kayaking? It has to add up to 120 between land and water? Is that the?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that you're not allowed to, yeah, there's a rule. So, thanks.
Right, moving on to the police department. Lori Beth.
Monthly police report, March 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2025. 416 total calls for service. Let's see, there was 1 felony criminal mischief, 3 fraud. Do I have to go through each one?
If it's 0, I just usually point out the ones that something happened. So.
Okay, so there was 5 harassment/aggravated harassment, 2 misdemeanors, 1 violation, 1 personal injury accident, 1 property damage accident, 24 traffic summons issued, 5 traffic warnings issued, 2 parking summons issued, 8 traffic enforcement posts, 3 speed or radar sign postings, fire response calls 3, domestic incidents 3, alarm response calls 3, no noise complaints. Suspicious incident calls 7, animal complaints 3, disorderly person calls 1. Assist Town of Cornwall 3, assist EMS 9, assist other police agencies 1, welfare check 1, citizen 7. During the month of March 2025, Cornwall and Hudson PD applied for approximately $58,000 in grant funding from the Congressionally Directed Spending, CDS, also known as Community Funding Project, through U.S. Senator Kristen Gillibrand's office. This grant funding would be utilized towards the purchase of a new police patrol vehicle. During the month of March 2025, Officers Rodriguez, Dunworth, Ryle, Bunt, and Sergeant Bruger all attended CPR, AED, and Narcan training, which was sponsored by New Windsor EMS and held at the COH Village Boardroom. Thank you, NWEMS, for this most important and informative training. During the month of March 2025, Officer Thompson attended both BAO, Breath Analysis Operator Training Certification, and DCJS Property Room and Evidence Management Training Certification. Both trainings were held at the Orange County Police Academy in Middletown, New York. During the month of March 2025, P.O. Thompson and Chief Dixon both attended a Make-A-Wish event, which was held at ShopRite Store, Village of Chester, New York, for a 6-year-old female child who is suffering from a serious illness and received her wish of going to Walt Disney World. Numerous police departments, officers from all over the county attended this very special event. During the month of March 2025, Sergeant Ruger and Chief Dixon both attended funeral services for retired NYPD officer and part-time Village of Washingtonville PD officer P.O. Joseph Santiago at St. Mary's Church, Washingtonville, New York. Officer Santiago was recently tragically killed in a motor vehicle accident in Sullivan County, New York. Numerous police departments from Orange County, NYPD, Ulster County, Sullivan County, and Putnam County attended the services. Mr. Santiago's son, Richard Santiago, is an officer with the City of Poughkeepsie PD. Our continued thoughts and prayers to the Santiago family. Respectfully submitted, Chief Stephen Dixon.
All right. Any questions of the chief? You had a busy month, chief.
No.
Just any sense on the Senate grant? Is that something we are usually competitive for? Like, is that the kind of thing we?
This is the first time I got this
Chief, is as the CPR, AED, and the Narcan training, is that annual? Do all officers have to take that to go through there, or is it a rotation?
Yeah, we try to get everybody in to go at least once a year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. All right, next up, we have DPW. Dave?
Village of Cornwall and Hudson Department of Public Works, March 2025. Trash collected for the month, 104.05 tons. Recycling collected for the month, 9.5 tons. Yard waste collected, 0. But we have collected yard waste, right, Dave? Oh, right, I'm sorry. Full patching of potholes continues. Service and repairs to village-owned vehicles. Plowed and cleanup from snowstorm, and it's March. Paint and new flooring in the mayor's office, a beautiful job, I must say. Started to repair areas damaged by plowing. Boat docks have been repaired and ready to be put in place. Weekly yard waste resumed on April 7th. Note, spring bulk cleanup. April 28th, still working with FEMA, USDA, and our engineers on repairs and improvements on the stormwater system. David Halverson, Superintendent of Public Works.
Dave, anything to note?
I'll just note that we jumped in on the Senator Gillibrand grant as well. We applied for funding to replace our salt shed. So we'll see how that goes, and we also piggyback along with the police department and water and other staff, the AED training and stuff, because we have the AEDs in DPW as well as the village hall here, so our employees have to be trained as well.
Didn't realize that. That's great.
Yeah.
Same thing for water department, Mike? Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Very
a couple,
There's probably over 20 people, I think.
yeah. A couple years ago, I decided, I partnered with UniFirst, or not UniFirst, Cintas, and they provide us with the AED units on a rental basis. There's one in the hallway here and one in the hallway at DPW in the event of a cardiac emergency.
And
I
new
was
in-
also there, so
Yeah.
I could shock you if you need it.
Oh, you took the training too. Excellent. Very good.
Yes, the machine tells you how too, right?
Yeah.
Do we have those ones that tell you what
Yeah,
to
they're
do?
fail-safe,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And New Windsor EMS, this is the second time they've done, since we contracted with them, this is the second training they've done here in the boardroom. So that's good. That's a great pattern.
Board food on both legs, so.
All right.
I know where I'm gonna put it.
Next up,
Yeah, I know.
we have the water department report. Bill?
I always joke with Superintendent Trainer that he's in charge of, not in charge, sir, Mr. Fire Chief, but he has a hand in fire and water, and it's a lot of elements to control, so. And now I'm getting to read the reports. Village of Cornwall and Hudson Water Department monthly, March 2025 monthly report. Monthly production was 23,557,000 gallons, with a daily average of 760,000 gallons. The department collected 28 samples in accordance with DOH regulations. The routine operations and maintenance were conducted. As far as transmission and distribution, there were 70 utility markouts completed, 4 water service shutoffs or turn-ons at owner's request. Water main leak was repaired at Maple Street. There was a fire hydrant repaired and installed at Russell Street at Pelham Drive. Curve valve boxes were repaired at 56 Canterbury Avenue. The department completed pressure-reducing station maintenance, reinstalled temporary bypass water line on Clinton Street in anticipation of Main Street water main relocation project. As far as meters, they read all commercial and residential water meters, bless you. There were 4 final water meter readings were completed, 17 residential water meters were replaced, 8 water line inspections were completed. In property maintenance, they installed a new workstation at the Maple Road Pump Station and completed spring cleanup of properties. The department is requesting authorization to purchase water quality analyzing equipment for Maple Road Pump Station. They're requesting authorization to purchase retaining wall block for Black Rock Water Treatment Plant. Requesting authorization to allow Superintendent Trainer and Water Maintenance Leader Dan Nye to attend the New York Rural Water Association's Technical Conference in Verona, New York on May 19th through 21st. And all staff, completed the CPR, AED, and Narcan refresher training that we just discussed. Respectfully submitted, Michael P. Trainer, Senior Water Superintendent.
Mike, two questions. Backflow prevention devices, where I know the number was dwindling down, am I getting that right, or am I mixing it up with?
Mixing them up with meters.
Meters, that's it, okay, so
Yes.
where are we at with smart meters?
So after our last correspondence to the, I think it was 29 holdouts, we're down to 22. So we've made some progress. Now, out of those 22, I believe there's 3 or 4 that the homes are under renovation. So the water is actually turned off to those properties.
Okay,
So they will be upgraded when the water goes back on. So
okay, so we're almost.
making slow progress, slowly.
Then the backflow prevention devices.
The backflow prevention devices are the whole different animal that we're continuously working on. Right now, we have about 50 in the water system that have to be tested annually on properties, and there's a lot more to go.
And what's I remember you telling us the goal. The goal is to have how many done this year? I know this is
Well, don't get that confused with the lead water service line
oh God,
replacement.
that's the other one, yeah. Well, that's the next one I was gonna ask you about, so.
So there's no goal on the backflow prevention
Okay.
devices. We're working with the school district, Storm King School, and New York Military Academy right now to install theirs. I believe all of the government offices have complied, and we're working with several commercial establishments that have to have them installed as well. It's an ongoing process.
Any timetable for the Main Street project?
Thanks for asking. Actually, that was supposed to start the week of April 14th. It got postponed. TAM will be on site beginning next Thursday, May 1st. They believe it should take them about a week to 10 days to get that completed. We're currently working with them to have a very short shutdown time period, at which time the temporary water line would provide domestic use water. Hopefully they can make the tie-ins on both sides within one day.
Wow, that's pretty good. Looks like the project is pretty much on course though, right? The bridge?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit behind?
No, it's actually way ahead of schedule.
Oh, it is? On
Yeah,
that?
yeah, so they plan on moving into stage 3 configuration the end of this week, the beginning of next week, which means the lanes of travel will shift to the center of the roadway.
Yeah.
And then once they do that, I believe they're still looking for, to be substantially done and out of there like around July 1st. They were lucky, they got the waiver from DEC that allowed them to work all winter long, otherwise it would have been a 4.5-month shutdown.
Mike, can you provide us an update on Stone Hollow development? Because I know Joe is very interested in that, and the escrow,
Yeah.
so,
So the Stone Hollow development is I'll call it the new development off of Willow Avenue, although it's not really all that new. They started that back in, probably at least a decade ago. The last house was built about 3 years ago. Since then, we've been trying, between the town and the village, we've been trying to get the developer, Ginsberg Development Corporation, to finish the project and dedicate the road to the town and the water system to the village. Since last November, I would say that the developer's been kind of non-responsive to our requests. They owe us approximately $42,000 in outstanding water bills. They have some ongoing maintenance issues over there they have to correct. And I know the residents themselves have reached out to Ginsberg Development and haven't received any response back either of late.
and I'm sure you've been in touch with our esteemed council
Yes.
in regards to this and our next step.
Is to send a letter to them, either under your signature or his, to kind of bring them to the table. I'd like to have an in-person meeting with them rather than a conference call. I think it's a little bit more direct when we have in-person meetings.
Sounds reasonable.
Do we still hold the completion bond?
We do. Over the years, they've asked for reductions in that. We have a record of it being reducted, being authorized by the board, but I don't know that it ever has actually been reduced.
And the reasoning behind why we might consider a request to reduce it is? We would, right, yeah.
In the past, it depends on the completion status of the water main.
Right.
So like, they put in 100% of the water main. The water main's done. Everything's done. The only thing they have outstanding for us is the outstanding water bills, and they have a backflow prevention device for the sewer pump station that has to be certified.
There was a condition, I can't recall it offhand, there was a condition maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. I think they requested a reduction in the bond.
Correct.
And there was a condition, and I don't think they ever met the condition, so it just stopped at the resolution
Right.
phase. But now, there really wouldn't be any reason to reduce it until they complete and pay the bill,
Correct.
and then we'll release them from the bond.
So right now, if there's a water main break over there, either the developer's gonna have to fix it, or the residents would be responsible for it. Ultimately, we could fix it, but we would be billing somebody.
Moving,
The value of that bond's 180,000, is that right? It just sticks in my head, I might be,
I was thinking like 147,000.
okay.
I thought it was less than that, but
That was the initial bond. I know it was reduced a couple times.
yes. All right, moving on to New Windsor EMS. Mary Beth, would you handle that, please?
Town of New Windsor, Town of Cornwall, Village of Cornwall. New Windsor EMS report of March 2025. 362 responses, 374 incident, 100% of calls covered. 254 New Windsor, 61 Cornwall, 18 Cornwall and Hudson, 16 Highlands, 5 West Point, 3 City of Newburgh, 4 Town of Newburgh, 6 Blooming Grove, 2 Montgomery, 5 Woodbury. Response times: 6 minutes 44 seconds New Windsor, 5 minutes 40 seconds for Cornwall, 6 minutes 58 seconds for Cornwall and Hudson. Operational: no vehicle accidents, 2 staff workers reports for back injuries, 2 new paramedics, 1 resignation, all vehicles operational and in service, multiple CPR and other classes held. Administrative: cyber incident, all systems being reviewed by New Windsor IT and an independent IT firm and lawyer. Insurance is covering all costs associated with this incident. 2025 New Windsor Fund Drive was sent out. Bylaw review in progress. Cornwall contract renewal being reviewed. Agency insurance renewal completed. Scoofus grant contract being executed. ECAS grant moving along and being processed. Letter sent regarding increasing Medicaid reimbursement to local state leaders. 2025 audit in progress. Mental health unit has started in Cornwall and responded and assisted on 12 calls. As always, please reach out with any questions. Michael Big, Chief of Operations.
All righty, any questions? If you want me to reach out to Mike. All right. Hearing none, let's move on to resolutions. First up, we have approval of the April 7th meeting minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the reorganization meeting on April 7th, 2025. May I have a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next up, it's to approve the water department's training. So, Mike, can you just give us the description of the training that you are seeking authorization to do?
Sure, so, all licensed water treatment operators have to attend continuing education credit hours each year to maintain their water treatment license. So what I'm seeking is authorization for Dan Nye and myself to attend the, technical training conference given by the New York World Water Association. We typically attend this each year. This is also the association that awarded us the Water System of the Year for 2024. That's being given up in Verona, New York on May 19th through the 21st.
Okay, very good. Any questions of Mike? All right.
You sent us a memo with listing out some of the requirements of water system operators and the different certifications.
Yep.
It seemed like we have a lot of, was it water system operator one?
We do.
What seemed like the highest classification.
We
Are
do.
we ahead of the game in that regard? Is that
I-
why we're the number one rural water system in New York State?
We are definitely number one because of our staff, I'll put it to you that way.
Nice the way you
Good
keep
answer.
working
That
that.
was a good answer, Mike, yeah.
So when I first started here, we had two personnel that had that training, that level of certification. The trouble with that is if you only have one person that has that licensing, that person can never go on vacation because you always have to be able to respond within an hour or two. So we've over the years, if we have personnel that are looking to further their career, we offer the training because it's good for the village, for succession planning. God forbid a couple operators get injured or sick or during COVID, we were always able to staff the treatment plants with a licensed operator.
And you and Dan are equivalent, Mike, from the chart that you gave us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good, all right. Well, we covered down well, so that's excellent. So, I will make a motion to authorize the water superintendent and the water maintenance leader who are Dan Nye and Michael Trainer, to attend the New York Rural Water Association's Technical Conference in Verona, New York, from May 19th to May 21st. May I have a second, please? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mike. Next up, we have authorization for the Maple Road water analyzer equipment. Mike, it looks like you want to purchase some analyzers for chlorine and what else, Mike?
It's gonna be chlorine, turbidity, and pH.
Okay. And it looks like you got the 3 quotes as per our policy. So-
Actually, sir, we only got one quote because it's a sole source.
I thought,
purchase.
oh, okay, I'm looking at, no, I'm getting ahead of myself, it's the retaining block stuff, gotcha, okay. Any questions of Mike in regards to the analyzer?
Just this, all of this is budgeted, right? I mean, it's
Yes.
the standard stuff. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to authorize the purchase of water quality analyzing equipment for the Maple Road Pump Station from North/East Technical Sales, Inc. for $11,071.20. It was noted that while the village internal purchasing policy ordinarily requires 3 quotes for a purchase of this amount, this is a purchase of materials from a sole source provider, so no additional quotes were required. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to the retaining blocks. This one we have 3 quotes for, Mike.
Correct.
So can you describe for the public what exactly you want to do with the retaining wall and where it's going to be?
So this would be up at our Black Rock water treatment plant, at the base of Black Rock Forest. There's an area of property behind our clear well that's got a small slope to it. So we're looking to stabilize that slope with a retaining wall, so that we can better use that piece of property. Because that plant up there is lacking storage space. It's just a big open space with our micromembrane filters, and there's no storage area for equipment or tools or anything of that
So
sort.
it's not compromising anything else?
No,
in
not
there?
at all.
You
Not
have
at
to
all.
dig it out, Mike, to square it up?
We did, yes.
It's,
Yep.
okay.
And we'll be doing the work, we just need the
Yep,
materials, right?
correct.
And then we'll be doing the work?
Yep.
Excellent, okay. Any further questions of Mike? All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the purchase of materials to build a retaining wall at the Black Rock Water Treatment Plant from Expanded Supply Products, Inc., the lowest bid, for the amount of $19,591. 2 other bids were obtained as per the Village of Cornwall and Hudson's procurement policy. 1 bid came in from MHCP as the second lowest at $19,601. Please note that their quote includes sales tax, which has been deducted to arrive at this price. And the third quote was from an A&R in the amount of $20,384. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do this here. Okay, the next one is Megan, our treasurer, has asked for a transfer from one fund balance line to our LoSAP line. And just for the public's purpose, the LoSAP stands for the Length of Service Award Program. That's a defined benefit program that is offered to our fire personnel. They get credited each year for each year of active service. And at the end of normally, well, actually, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, I was going to say 20 years, you'll get the full benefit, but it's based on the amount of years and it's calculated each year annually. And each year, we have an administrator for the purposes of doing the calculation. But the bottom line is each year you get a certain amount of credits for being an active fire person, correct?
Correct. It's $40 per month per year that you serve. And it's done by actuary. Right now, I'm more expensive than my son is, but I'm taking this.
Right. And it was at least, I think almost 2 years ago, actually in 2023, that we engaged Hometown Firefighter and EMS Services to provide us the administration as well as the actuarial services. And pursuant to their calculation, we have to move a certain amount of funds from the fund balance to the LoSAP, fire LoSAP line. So, that being said, I will make a motion to authorize the transfer of $17,072.37 from line A599 fund balance to A9025.8, which is the fire LoSAP line for the annual service award program. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. How come we did not budget for there's such a difference? Why did we have to transfer the funds?
It was,
From fund
from
balance.
speaking to Megan, when we started this program in 2023, we signed, but that was late. So we signed in December 2023. The initial funding was $20,000, I believe, that we initially paid up front. And this is their calculation for
Yeah.
the 2024, let me see. This is to catch us up for the total amount that needs to be funded for all the members. And I counted, the members amount to somewhere about around 60 members.
So this is an increase.
Yeah, this is going to be every year, we have to, based upon their active service and their credit, we have to make a contribution to this defined benefit program.
So there just happens to be that many people right now
And it's fluid.
that are
So,
It can change every year, and it does.
we don't, we're not contributing.
No, correct, but there's in the list that we provided to hometown firefighter and EM services, we gave them a list, I counted the names, it was around 60. I'm not saying all of them are active, but I just remember counting it out. There's a certain amount of personnel who are active. Those are the ones that we have to do an annual contribution for. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, what you do at the end of each year, you provide hometown services with the name of the personnel and how much credit they get. And then they take that and they calculate it.
And it would be one credit per
Okay.
person per year. They get
Okay.
credit for the year if they made their 50 LoSAP points.
So do we have an idea of what next year will be? Can we,
It should be around the same. What would change it drastically would be if we had
a bunch of people
A
hit
huge
60.
influx of people who are older.
And that's what happened this year. I'm sorry if I'm not
No,
understanding.
that's okay.
But that's what happened this year to increase it to having to move the 17,000,
In part, it's a shift to the new plan.
a new plan.
We went from a defined contribution to a defined benefit
Benefit.
plan. And that was they made the hometown service firefighter and EMS services, gave us a presentation, I think it was somewhere in November or December of last year. And we went from, and I can't remember the name of the company that we had, but we moved to them because we thought it was a better LoSAP program. So they transferred everything over in 2024 to this program. There's also a fee for the administration of this. Last year's fee was $3,800. This year's fee is somewhere in the vicinity of $4,250. This is for both for the administrative services as well as the actuarial services. So yes, this is gonna be an ongoing, why it wasn't included in this amount, I think they underestimated last year. So, we obviously can't do that this year, so this is something that we're gonna have to budget for on a continuing basis.
So, what's does this happen once a year, this assessment of the benefit? Mhm. So, we were at 20,000 for this year, and now we're at 37,000 some odd. Is that accurate, roughly? Okay, so it's just a question of having underestimated based on the
Yes.
budgeting process. So is there any, so that we don't end up having to take out a fund balance next year, is there a timing thing that we need to do differently? Is there a way to get them involved earlier to give us the estimate so that we can put it in the budget, or?
Yeah, we could have them, I mean, we'll have Megan reach out to Hometown Services and see if they can give us a indicative, amount, and it'll be based on what Charlie provides them. Charlie, when do you end up providing them? Is it in December?
It's based on the end of December, so it just
Okay.
takes a while to
So-
wrap up the year.
So, you know what, so when we get to that point, again, Charlie, then let's start the ball rolling quicker so we can get an estimate from them. But I'll make sure that Megan reaches out to them so we have an estimate for this year's budget, for the upcoming year's budget, excuse me. All right? So, did I already make the motion?
Yes.
I did, we got a second, now is our discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, yes, the next one up is authorize the Cornwall Hudson Fire Department budget line and investment. We're gonna move that down to other business. Okay. The one after that is, we did the authorize the budget line, we just did that one. We're moving the reservation refund policy, that's down to other business. Moving on to the Bannerman Island Volunteer DMP Pass Day. Day passes. Do I have the same one that you guys have here? Let me see your. Okay, let me just check here, hold on. We're okay, we're all right. Okay, let me see this, that's okay. All right, so, wait, I have their email. Hold on to that for a second. Hold on, this is that one, okay. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Okay, we received a letter from Bannerman Castle, the volunteers. They said, help with island projects or join our garden crew headed by Donna Blakemore and work to maintain, water, and plant our beautiful grounds. We have a group of dedicated volunteers who help with island projects. On Wednesdays, the garden crew works to maintain, water, and plant our beautiful grounds. They are looking for volunteers other than gardeners, and they're hosting their, their next I Love My Parks Day is being hosted by the Parks and Trails in New York. It's Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. They are requesting 20-day passes at no cost.
The Donahue Memorial Park?
No, oh yeah, down on the waterfront. For, does she say how much time? She doesn't say how much time for their volunteer work, just for the day at Bannerman Castle, at the island. For the morning. I thought it was morning, but she didn't say, she doesn't say how many hours.
What date? May 3rd?
May 3rd,
Saturday.
Saturday. This is the first, I don't remember,
It's
this
the first time she's asked.
it's the first time they've asked. Thoughts in
No.
regards to waiving the fee?
I don't care about the fee, I care about the number of cars.
78 spots.
Yeah,
That's I mean, the kayaks will be in by then.
May 3rd, that's two weeks from now. Bill, your thoughts?
I'm in favor.
I'm
Or
not
Beth?
against it, I just think that, I don't know. What do they do, boat over there?
Yes.
We could encourage them to carpool
Yeah.
and they're able.
All right.
Can't ride
Well,
on water, that's
Are
Jesus.
your thoughts?
I forgot about
Lori Beth, your thoughts?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not against it, I just,
I think from that, I think what, Doris, what we could do is, I'll propose the motion, but going forward, when we respond to them,
especially Saturdays.
please, one, ask them to carpool as much as they can. Two, this is not, it's not dated, so,
It's not.
tell them, ask them to please, provide us as much advance notice if they plan to do this again next year. And if they could do it, I know this is tough, but a little bit earlier than, maybe a week or two earlier, it would assist in parking, because that's when the kayak companies start up. So,
I hate to complicate this, but
yeah.
Saturday, May 3rd is the Riverkeeper Sweep.
I knew it. I just asked her to look it up.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point.
When we provide car passes to the Riverkeeper Sweepers.
You know,
River Sweep.
wow. So,
I was just looking
and
it
how
up,
many,
Bill.
and you know what? Let me look at my,
But I think
we still,
that becomes beautify the park and volunteers fixing
that's
stuff day.
true. That is true. Hold on one second, May 3rd.
But so, for River Sweep, we don't give dedicated spots to anybody, though. It's, you just first come, first serve. To say that they're gonna placard 20 spots out of 78 on that day.
I mean, we've done this a few times. Bill, do you remember how
Well,
many?
they were
does a lot get, does a lot get full?
No, I don't think so. It's, I mean,
You,
I
you
don't
know
like
what?
to walk far, so I usually park right by the gazebo and get over there.
And we don't, and we, Chief, we don't usually, when we do the river sweep, we don't really enforce the parking.
No, we don't. But
Yeah, Dave, I don't think we're putting caution tape across
Yeah,
parking
so,
spots. We're just
look,
saying you can bring 20 cars and we're
Here-
not gonna charge you.
Here's the answer. You know what? I'm in for it. You know what? If they can't get a parking space, you gotta go, go carpool, go up to Hudson Street. That's what it comes down to. So,
Note to the general public, if you're not volunteering, please don't come and expect to not have a
and you know,
parking
Doris,
pass.
in your correspondence, their response to them, you can tell them that, say, hey, it's River Sweep Day, so just be advised, you may not get a parking space.
yeah, that's all.
That's it.
And that, and that's actually a pretty short term, that's the other thing. It's kind of it's just the
Yeah,
morning.
it's correct.
It's only a couple
correct,
hours, so.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve. Oh, where is, you had it? Can I have this? Doris?
Oh, there's 78.
It's all right.
There's 78.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to authorize the village clerk to give Bannerman Island Trust 20 Donahue Memorial Park day passes at $20 each for a total value of $400. These passes will be used on May 3rd, 2025 for the New York State I Love My Parks Day to recruit new volunteers at Bannerman Island. May I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Those
All in fa-
passes will be on a as available basis.
Do we need to give passes?
No, there's no passes, it's just.
Yeah, we're just
all right,
saying that
Volunteers, we're not enforcing the
that
parking
day,
lot rule.
others will be there also, and
Yeah.
we won't
Yeah,
be
you don't get a
enforcing
parking
parking.
pass, yeah.
So what you're saying is we don't want to give them the passes, we're just looking the other way, they park for the day. But the problem is what about the river sweep, as Bill pointed out, we're done by 12 o'clock-ish. So, what about the other people gonna use, let's just go with the passes.
We don't
them
have
come in.
passes on the dashboard, do we? We don't issue a.
We issue a day pass. We have day passes.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yes.
All right, sorry,
yeah.
my mistake.
So I'm sticking with my motion. Can I get a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good to go, all right. All right, Bannerman. All right, next one up is an event at the Cornwall on Hudson Fire Department. So we have a facility reservation by our esteemed colleague trustee Lori Beth Paleota with respect to hosting the Teacher Appreciation Luncheon, which is going to be hosted by the Cornwall and Hudson Elementary PTO on May 6, 2025, at the Storm King Engine Firehouse. We have done this in the past. So I will make that motion to authorize the Cornwall and Hudson Elementary PTO to have the appreciation luncheon on May 6, 2025, to use the, what do you call that area, Mike?
Community area, community room.
Okay, community room, from 10:30 to 2:30. May I have a second?
I can't second it,
Second.
can I?
Oh, that's right, that's yours.
Discussion?
I would second it anyway.
Discussion?
Go for it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Rick, Charlie. Okay, next one up. We have Hudson Donahue Committee, wood milling and stacking. All right, that one, next one, hold on. There we go. All right, ran into Deke. Even though he told us last week, he changed the dates. Now he wants to push it back for the wood milling and stacking on the 28th, 29th, and 30th. What's going to happen is this gentleman's bringing in his sawing services. It'll be quartered off. People can watch what Deke and I think Dave Worth's going to be involved, as well as this gentleman who is bringing his giant saw. So no one from the public can get engaged in the activity. And they have provided, the company that's doing this is Sedmac Custom Contracting LLC. They have provided a certificate of workers' compensation insurance to the village. So I will make a motion to approve the wood milling and wood stacking event at Donahue Farm on April 28th, 29th, and 30th. The insurance for this event has been provided, and the public may attend the event, but they can't participate in the activity. Only members of the Donahue Farm Committee can. May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Just that the wood is intended to be used for prospective kayak racks at Donahue Memorial Park and/or possibly raised beds in the community garden at Donahue Farm.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, that down. Now, moving on to the Cornwall Yacht Club. We're now going to call it Equipment Rental Agreement. So, over the past, how many years, Dave? 25, 30 years. Over the past 25, 30 years, we put in our docks down on the Hudson River at Donahue Memorial Park. Each year, the Cornwall Yacht Club has graciously offered their services the use of their pile driver to put in the 5 poles into the water. Last year, 2 things for this year. One is the yacht club purchased a new pile driver, which cost $250,000. It's expensive to operate. Once they're again offering their services, however, both the village and the Cornwall Yacht Club are requiring insurance coverage because of, 1, the use of the apparatus, and 2, you have people, the Cornwall Yacht Club members, volunteering their labor and services. So, and 3rd, because of the expense of the apparatus, the pile driver, the yacht club is seeking $1,500 for the service. So in the end, what we're doing is the village is technically renting the equipment, and the labor is being provided by the Cornwall Yacht Club members for free. We had Joe prepare a rental agreement, and Joe, if you want to speak to that.
Well, we just slightly modified the agreement. I think it's important to note that I think Dave got quotes or estimates from private vendors as to what the cost would be. I don't know how much that is, but it was still cheaper, right, for the yacht
Around
club? to do
3,000 a
it?
pole.
Wait, what was that, Dave?
It'd be about $4,000 per pilot.
And we have 5 pilings. Okay.
So, and just to mention, I know we've talked about it. I'm communicating with our insurance company. When I made the revision to the draft agreement, within the agreement itself, I said it's subject to the village obtaining the proper insurance certificates. Of course, normally when someone comes on village property to do work, they give us their insurance certificates. So it's a little bit of a unique circumstance. So we've been communicating with the insurance company. One of the requirements that they had was that we provide them, that there be a written contract. So now that we have, as long as the board approves it as to form tonight, authorizes the mayor to sign it, I'll provide the insurance company with a copy of our draft agreement, and then see what their response is and how this is going to be covered and what it might cost, and I'll get back to the board when we get to that step.
Okay, so at this point, really, the motion is just, well, you prepared the agreement, so there's
Yeah,
really no, there's no resolution that needs to be, well, we gotta get this done, though.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would authorize the mayor to sign it.
Yeah, okay.
If the yacht club comes back and they want some further changes, we
Yeah.
could do that, but let's just get it done, I guess.
Do you
Okay,
have an
I'll make-
anticipated date, Dave? No? Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor of the Village of Cornwall and Hudson to execute an equipment rental agreement between the Village of Cornwall and Hudson and the Cornwall Yacht Club for the installation of the piers, the pilings for the piers, to secure the village's docks in the Hudson River, subject to the village obtaining the required insurance certificates for the project. May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Just the cost is,
Oh.
did we say it?
And the cost, yes.
Modest.
The cost to be $1,500 for the rental for the day. Second again?
Yep, second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, next, let's see. Okay, one of the things I did want to move up is from the other business to water sales to the town of Blooming Grove. We discussed this at our work session last week. About 2 weeks ago, the village of Blooming Grove, the town of Blooming Grove reached out to Mike Trainer with respect to purchasing water, because they've detected a leak, which according to Supervisor Rob Geralman has been going on for quite some time. He advised me in an email that they've been checking a leak in one of their water districts for several weeks now. During that time, they've had repairs made for 3 house services, 3 fire hydrants, but unfortunately, they're still experiencing the water loss. So about a little bit over a week ago, Mike, now, they wanted to purchase water on an emergency basis. Mike reached out to me. We authorized it. Mike, the purchase was for about 6,000 gallons, correct?
Each truckload is 6,000 gallons.
Okay. So at this point, it looks like they're interested in entering into an agreement with us to purchase water on an emergency basis.
Correct.
From us. So what I'd like to do is make a motion, propose a motion to have our attorney for the village draft an IMA between the village and the town of Blooming Grove, permitting our sale and their purchase of water at the rate which we've already determined, Mike, they agreed upon, which was $22 per 1,000 gallons,
Correct.
correct? Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Just the volume of water is very modest based on how much we can produce. And as discussed in our work session and in a memo provided to us by superintendent. And also there's no physical connection between the water systems. It's a filling station where trucks are dispatched to fill water and then proceed to the recipients. Yeah.
And Mike, we were talking about how in the future you think that the fill-up's gonna be down at the DPW building? the water-
Yes, if this becomes a long-term agreement relationship, we would want to take it out of a residential neighborhood and move it to our DPW facility. It's more suitable for that type of traffic. And Trustee Brain, just to be clear, it's only one truck, not trucks.
Oh, okay.
One truck that makes about 4 trips a day.
Oh, I see. Back and forth. The filling station, is it a fire hydrant? Is it a specialized device?
That's
or
exactly
what's-
what it is, a fire hydrant.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That's that one. All right. Before we move on to other business, I am adding to, actually, it's not other business, but I wanted to bring this up as I advised in executive session. So, as everyone knows, I was in the middle of my term as trustee. There's one more year on my term as trustee. That position is vacant. Over the past several weeks, I've interviewed 7 individuals to fill the vacancy on the board, and all were good candidates, each having their own unique backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. Most were engaged in the community and volunteering or on various committees or programs or boards. And after careful consideration, I have chosen to appoint Tiffany Galliano as the trustee. I think she's an excellent fit for the position, particularly with her skill set. She has been a practicing attorney for 18 years. She was an assistant DA for 3 years with the Orange County District Attorney's Office, 3 years as a assistant corporation counsel for the city of Newburgh, which provides, if anybody knows what corporation counsel does, they provide legal services, legal advice to the city council, the city mayor, the officers, different boards and bureaus. She was the legal counsel to their planning board and their zoning board. So she's well-versed in municipal operations. She has 3 years, she was 3 years as the dean of the School of Business at Mount St. Mary. She was the VP for legal affairs and strategy, as well as the general counsel to Mount St. Mary College. And now she's working for with Dreyer Law Offices. She's been on many, many different committees. She was on the Cornwall Youth Committee, the Cornwall and Hudson Special Events Executive Board. Let's see, what else? She was on the Girls on the Run, advisory board member to the Hudson Valley Food Bank for years. She also volunteered for the Cornwall Little League, as well as coached girls basketball. And more recently, she was elected to the Cornwall Central School Board back in a little bit over a year ago.
Yep.
So, the other thing I forgot is that she was 6 years worked as an attorney, chief assistant to the county attorney in Orange County. So, as I said before, I've interviewed a total of 7 people, and they were all very qualified. And from my estimation, she would be a good fit. It's almost like stepping into some of the position that I was taking, what I was doing. So she'll be seated at our next meeting come May 12th. Moving on to our other business. Where did I put my, hold on one second. What do we have up from, wait a minute, hold on. Put it in here somewhere, just give me 1 second. This one, oh, here we go. Misplaced it, okay. So, other business, let's start with the EV charging stations. Bill, why don't you give us an update on that?
Certainly. The mayor and I met down at the waterfront. It became apparent that the proposed placement of the Donahue Memorial Park charging station at the south end of that south parking lot would conflict with the hoped-for plan for kayak racks that are going to go there where residents can store their kayaks. So the mayor and I, looked at the rest of the park and identified an alternate site, which would be sort of more in the central parking area of the park overall, on the track side, away from the meadow, and close to a pole. To my layman's eyes, and perhaps to the mayor as well, the pole that we've selected already has electrical service to it in the form of a light. It's also about the same distance from the proposed charging station that the pole was down at the south end of the parking lot, and it's also about the same distance from a transformer on another pole as was the other one. So we're hopeful. I've communicated it to the third-party contractor Integra that is working with Central Hudson to get the site approval for that incentive that covers the costs. They are pushing that forward with Central Hudson just to keep the process moving. The other site in the municipal lot is good to go. Hopefully, this change, which they said might delay things by a month, hopefully that won't impact the other one, but they were non-committal on that front. And Dave Halverson, have you seen? Did I copy you on the email where I have an aerial shot here? I'll show you where we're proposing to put it, if that is helpful.
And Bill, there was no additional expense because we moved it over to the other pole, correct?
It should probably
Trenching
net out at the
expense.
same cost, yeah.
Okay, great.
Because it's about the same. The trench was, it's been relayed to me that the trenching is the biggest variable in terms of the cost. So if you're digging a longer ditch, it costs more, but this looks to be about the same distance ditch.
Right, and I
I
think,
heard volunteers.
yes, was it Dave?
Paid volunteers.
Yeah, Dave, didn't you volunteer if we needed to, the trenching for our EV charging?
Paid volunteers.
All
is
right,
what I
how
heard.
about this, voluntold?
What day am I doing that?
You indicated that it might be possible for
What-
one or more of our departments to do the trenching in the event that it is cost prohibitive to go
Just
through the.
keep me in the loop on what day I'm volunteering.
Okay.
Is it a road trench or is it a grass trench?
This one would be grass.
Piece of
Pine,
cake.
pine needles, really.
I think both of them will be outside of the parking areas. I think so. I'm
that's
not
number
100% sure, but I think so.
There's your.
So are they
quotes right
actually
there.
going to be on a piece of grass, or are they actually in a
The stanchion, the little thing, it should be right at the junction of two parking spots. Like the ones in Town Hall.
So confused by these drawings here.
Basically, two side-by-side spots with one post in the middle of them.
So
Right. So it'll be up like in the dirt though, right?
It might be on the asphalt, I'm not sure, but it won't take up. It'll be similar to the ones at Town.
I saw
like the
some
town hall.
It's two,
They get a
they're
little
two
pad.
paved,
So it's
they're
in
two
the- it's
paved
in the
parking
parking
spots, and
spot.
then you have the guardrail behind it.
Because I was at a doctor's office in Newburgh and I saw them in a parking lot, but they were in the grass right in front of the parking
That'd be better.
spots.
Yeah.
So they weren't in the way of being snow plowing or anything. They were really
Yeah, I
tucked
think-
away. It was great.
I think both of those can be on the backside of the guardrail, but one of the things you're gonna have to worry about, one, at the bandstand area, is the backside of the guardrail is then exposed to the road. So you're gonna have to do something to protect that side as well.
Yeah, you'll
Well,
need,
we didn't talk about that yet, right?
you might need at
Bill, which
least
one's
a
gonna
ballard.
be installed first? The one down in
You
the
need a
water?
you need a ballard behind
I think
that
they're
one.
aiming to try to get them both done at the same time,
ballards.
but
The river and the school parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
We didn't talk about the placement of the school parking lot.
But we did.
Yeah, it's the second from here, it's right.
it is the corner closest to the elementary school. That's where the drop was and the transformer.
Oh, my goodness.
You have to,
And is that because of pickup and drop off?
It's gonna be very,
It's in
Yeah.
that corner,
in where we kind of like tuck in and there's parking spot. Wow, that's gonna be really rough for that parking lot. When school is getting out or school is going in, we are squeezed. People squeeze in there. That's gonna be tough.
When you say squeeze, coming from where, Lori Beth? Car-wise squeeze or people?
it's behind the guardrail.
It's behind the guardrail.
Well, it depends where they're gonna put it. They'll probably put it inside the guardrail, but I think, Lori Beth,
yeah.
you mean inside the lot itself, in those parking spaces is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Well,
So the
so,
hypothesis
and no one
here-
else can park there.
Well, the hypothesis is that
It's just one though.
the only time when anybody would bother, generally speaking, parking an electric car there is when they're gonna stay a little while. And the times when people tend to stay a little while are outside of school hours. So the value proposition, if you will, for these parking spots is come down and go to the restaurants, go to the bandstand concert, park your car and charge it while you're doing something nearby.
And those spots are available for parents to park in during pickup and drop off.
We can decide that, but if somebody is parked there, like if I parked
Well,
there now,
obviously,
I mean. you know,
if someone's parked there,
yeah.
it's just slim pickings for parking there.
Mm-hmm.
And I also experience how people kind of create their own little spots over there while we're dropping off and picking up. And I actually got hit the other day. It wasn't horrible, but that's how people try to kind of tightly fit in there. And I just worry that that's going to be challenging.
It's a tough parking lot to
It is very tough.
put in. Yeah, I don't know where else you would. I don't know where else you would end up putting them. And there's two spots, right, Bill? Or is it
Yeah,
one?
yeah, one charger with two
Two
plugs.
spots, yeah.
And again, I mean, we have total flexibility as to what the hours are, how long someone's allowed to park or whatever, but
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's-
yeah.
Oh, we can
I mean, we
do
can
that.
say, electric cars only evenings and weekends or whatever the timing is. But if you
That
happen
might
to
be ideal.
I mean, but again, bearing in mind that if somebody's parking there legally during the school day, if there's it's just a parking spot, like, you know what I mean? It's, the question of roping it off is a separate question, but as it is now, it's not reserved for pickup and drop off at those hours. so-
And with that in mind, you can since there's 2 spots, you can,
Yeah, make one or the.
you can make one available during certain times. So let's get it installed, then we can figure it out. Build it and they will come, right? All right.
Yeah, but only on evenings and weekends. That's,
There you
that's
go.
the plan.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll run this to Dave.
All right, the water rate study proposal. Mike, there was a meeting of the water committee this past week with regards to the water rate study proposal. Can you give us an update on that?
Sure. The committee met this past Thursday to discuss the 2 proposals that we had. One was for the one-time rate study, and the other was for the proprietary software that does the continuous rate studies. The thing that came out of it, the committee all agreed that the one-time rate study proposal was more comprehensive and more detailed. One of the questions we have is for council in terms of professional services, the procurement policy. Now, we understand that you don't necessarily have to go out to bid and formally bid for professional services such as that, but is there a threshold on which you have to issue an RFP? One of the committee members, Commissioner Denega, mentioned like at the county level, there is a RFP process for those services, and there's a spending threshold which allows him to enter into an agreement without getting additional
What's our
price
threshold?
quotes.
Do we have one?
What do you think the cost of the study's going to be, Mike?
The first quote we got was $49,000.
Yeah.
I think, without looking at it, I think the way our policy is structured, if we have a purchase that's for professional service, I don't think there is a limit per se.
I don't think so.
There is
either.
none.
Because the idea is it's outside what would be the bidding process. I mean, I can certainly understand why the county has an internal policy because they probably get RFPs for hundreds of
Correct.
things, right? So, I mean, I think it's a good
Absolutely.
idea, right? I don't know if you need to amend the policy or maybe just, are you suggesting to just simply put it out for an RFP?
I'm suggesting, can I simply reach out to other providers and say, hey, this is what we're looking to do? Can you please provide a price quote, or do we actually have to put together an RFP?
Well, that depends on how specific a service you need. You can just request, a request for a quote to provide a service. You can call it a request for quotation, you can call it a request for a proposal. Usually, if you have a formal request for a proposal, it's because you have a lot of details that you need the vendor to
Correct.
meet, a lot of standards before you can get the quote. I'm not, I don't know, if there are 5 companies that do this in some reasonable area, and it's what they do, maybe you don't need a formal RFP, but maybe you just want the board's consent to authorize
Correct.
you to seek it.
Okay.
If you need a lot of detail,
No, I think you answered our question.
okay.
All right.
You didn't want me to say any more, you just kind of stopped right
No,
there?
I think it just to request quotes based on, a synopsis of the project that we're working on. That's what I got out of that.
I think
So,
that Raftalia's proposal, Mike, is very, very, very detailed.
Yes.
So it's almost, if you're gonna do it,
I can
use
base it
kind of
off
the
of that.
template. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
and they did a study for the city of Newburgh. I'm assuming the city of Newburgh reached out to several others as well, and they may have an RFP that they use, so I'll reach out to my counterpart in Newburgh and see if I can get some more information from them.
Great, very good. All right, moving on, a couple more items. Okay, summer camp at Camp Olmsted, but we can do that so I just put this on here as a reminder for the parents. Let's see, first is that parent orientation is April 19th, May 8th, and June 3rd. they can come in and pick up a flyer here, and that the registration and payment deadline is June 16th. Because just as a reminder, the village and the town is not hosting the summer camp this year, or what we refer to as playground, summer playground. It's going to be at Camp Olmsted. And the cost for that was $675 per child. And it has a pool. It's going to be, I think it'll be well worth the money. The fee that's being charged is much less than other municipalities in the area. Let's see, last two items, lighting replacement in the firehouse. Mike or Charlie, or Rick, or Dave. All right, let's go around the horn. Anybody else? Orange.
Manny
all right.
probably have to
Steve?
inspect it.
Yeah. Oh.
There's,
How do you say that, Bill?
Well, I just figured we'd get everybody in.
So Dave, go ahead.
there's a program available through Central Hudson to, one, it helps lower your costs, obviously, putting in LED lights, but I'm working with one of our local contractors to try to secure some funding for that.
How many lights are we talking about? Fixtures?
You're talking, I think it's a total of 25 2x4 fluorescent tubes between the training room and the meeting room.
Right.
Right now, they're the old incandescent, kind of dull.
Right.
It's not real bright in there.
All right, and it'll save us some money too.
Yeah, so, I mean, it'll save on electricity and they're better quality and you can actually put in less lighting.
Okay.
Dave, would you, former Mayor Galliano had asked me to look into LED streetlight replacement for the village, pursuant to what the town did, and some of which has already been happening. There is some grant money available. There's a program that NIPA offers where they'll help you make the transition and then do maintenance after the fact, and the village would take ownership of the lights. Do you have any input into that? Do you want to have any input into that?
Myself, I think it's more work than the village wants to get involved with, because a tree falls and takes the light down. It's up to us, our cost, our responsibility to get it back up, as well as any time a light goes out or anything like that. Now, Central Hudson takes care of all that for us. Somebody hits a pole and knocks a pole down, they're there, they put the new pole up, they string the light, it's seamless. We're gonna be the party now that are
Plus, remember, the other part about it, Bill, is we're already on a 1-for-1. So every time a light goes out, it gets replaced by Central Hudson for free as an LED.
Yes.
So you really have to know how many you have, which I have all that information.
We currently
I have to
own
look
two
it up.
streetlights.
Huh?
We currently own 2 streetlights.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, you have to know how many you have total, which I can find out, and how many have already been replaced. That's the thing. And do you save money by owning them? Yeah, you do. But to Dave's point, if you want to take a look, Stone Hollow, there's a light that's been hanging. So let's have the theory. We have a storm, and the pole in front of your house gets knocked down. Central Hudson's going to come. They're going to put the pole up, and they're going to lay that fixture on the side of that pole and never put it back up. So if you're a contractor, there's one on Stone Hollow that's been there for 3 months. It's still hanging on the side. There's no street light on it. Now, I don't know who they have the contract, Albright, right?
I'm not sure who the
It's
town
Albright.
contracted with.
I believe it is. The local guy did not get the contract.
But
Well, to that, I don't think the town owns them yet because that's the development
haven't
from
been dedicated.
Ginsburg.
It's on the, no, it's not it's on the street.
I understand that, but the town doesn't own the street yet.
Stone Hollow,
Hasn't
they haven't
nothing-
dedicated the street.
No, I don't mean Stone Hollow. The development right after the 9W overpass on the left, the fancy one.
Stone Hollow.
Yeah, but it's on the road.
But the developer still owns all that.
Right, so he's responsible for it.
He's responsible.
he owns the
Well,
On Quaker Mill, on Quaker Road.
Quaker Mill or-
No, Quaker Avenue? He's
Oh, that's
respon-
Orhatch.
No. The next one up.
Oh, you mean Chet Ain Woods?
Dane Woods?
The first development right at the 9W South ramp.
At Willow Avenue?
No, Quaker.
Well, if I may, it seems like we need to have some discussion, but.
Cedar Lane?
No.
I'm in the neighborhood.
Not right after the 9W overpass on Quaker. The first
So the
development,
Shadane.
the fancy, no, before Shadane.
Oh, the.
Nature's Way.
Nature's
Nature's
Way.
Way.
That's all private down in there.
It's not down in there, it's on the
Oh,
road.
it's on
Nice.
Willow.
And
Oh,
it's
it's on
hanging there.
Quaker.
On the
It's
county
been
road.
hanging there
It's
for
on
2
Quaker.
months.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, that was one of the earliest arguments we had. That if something happens catastrophic, you have to know where you fall on the list. You may never get them replaced. That was the only
The
argument.
NIPA claims that they have a maintenance contract that they would be the
They
responsive
do, but
party.
how
and
come
then
that one
et
hasn't
cetera.
been replaced?
I don't know. In any case, so I think we should explore it. The savings are substantial, not just based on well, according to I read one estimate of savings. Anyway, so, and you've answered my question. Yes, you do want input into that, and so and Dave, I will of course come to you as well. So as we look through doing that, there is money available to help us do it. I get you. I want to make sure I know, what the considerations are. All right. Well, thank you. I
And
appreciate it. That was
I'm
a
gonna say up
sidebar,
front,
but-
since I'm an employee of the New York Power Authority, I'm not gonna get involved in any discussions with them at all. I can talk about lighting in general, but I can't get involved in any of it.
And Mayor Kane has made that very clear from the get-go, and we have not had any conversations about it.
So, all right, last one up on the other business is the kayak vendor permits. Doris have either one of the kayak vendors come in to obtain their permit or anything?
No, just stop Bannerman Island. They come in, but that's not a vendor.
So pursuant to our agreement with them, when they do come in, let's just remind them, and I will highlight this for you, but they have to have their certificate of insurance. A couple of things I want to make sure what Charlie would know, and that is, they have to have, one of the requirements is they have to have a float plan that's approved by the Storm King Fire Department.
Approved, but they have to have a full plan that they put in the box.
They put in the box, okay. Yes, they put in the drop box. The other thing
Number.
is applicants, let's see, yeah, here's one of the things. The applicants are required to meet with the representatives of the Storm King Fire Department and Village to review the few of the items that are in here. Has that happened in the past?
As we haven't done it in a year or two, but it's
Okay.
happening again this year.
So I want to make sure that happens. So it's number 12 that refers to the ones before, all right, Doris? So when they come in for that, all right? Okay. I'm going to open it up for public comment. Carol, do you have anything? Anyone else? Rick? No? Okay. Seeing there's no public comment, moving on to FYI. So, April 23rd at 6 PM, the Donahue Farm Committee is meeting
Here?
at Donahue Farm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The April 25th is the Cornwall Central High School Junior Prom. That's the one where they're doing the pictures down at the waterfront, right, Chief?
Friday.
Okay, that's this Friday.
The hours that they should be there.
Hopefully it'll be nice.
Okay, and you're having extra personnel on duty. All right. April 28th is the spring bulk trash pickup. Dave is going to be around for that one. May 8th at 7 PM, the Zoning Board of Appeals at the Village Boardroom. May 12th, 7 PM, the Village Board Work Session in our conference room. May 13th, 6 PM, the Board of Fire Commissioners meeting at the Village Boardroom. May 19th, 7 PM, our Village Board meeting. The 20th is the Cornwall School District Budget Vote at Cornwall Middle School. May 20th at 7 PM is the Planning Board meeting in the Village Boardroom. And June 16th is the summer camp registration deadline. All right. Any alibis? Anybody have anything else before we go around for comments?
I have one.
Yes, Joe.
If we could place on the agenda, at least for discussion, the fire training stipend local law that I have drafted.
Wait, what was that?
It's the fire training stipend local law. Right? I got that right. Despite my best intentions, it keeps kind of getting bumped for reorg and the yacht club agreements and certain things. So I have been telling Commissioner Giampolo for, I don't know, a long, long time that I have it. I just need a couple hours to get it done.
So you want it on the work session? You want to discuss it at the work session?
Sure, just to make sure it's on an agenda.
Okay, we'll
so
put it at
that
the work session.
we, it just keeps getting bumped.
So do you need Rick there to address it too?
I don't think so. I think really, recently, Rick sent me an email. He had a draft of a resolution that another agency had done,
Okay.
another municipality.
He told me.
I've drafted it as a local law. And I'll take a look at Rick, what you sent. I'll see if I can incorporate that into our final draft.
Okay.
And then only because I want everybody to weigh in, because we're one of the only villages that actually has a fire commission and we have an active engagement from the fire department. I just want to make sure all the stakeholders get a chance to look at it, get their input, and then once we do that, we can get it scheduled for a public hearing.
Duly noted. We'll tee that up. All right, going around the horn. Lori Beth.
Ooh, way past my bedtime.
Okay.
Got nothing.
Bill, do you have anything?
Yes, Clerk Wixler just reminded me that tomorrow is the library board election and budget vote at the library from 9 to 9. I encourage everybody to vote. I had a couple of people reach out about mountain road erosion, and I know, Mayor, that you are focused on that and that we're moving forward with our engineers to get assessments of what needs to be done. This was specifically a lower, one of the culverts closer to a little ways down from the large culvert, up where it crosses in a ditch on the west side. And just that culvert collapsed. I think, Dave, I believe you, Superintendent Halverson, had the crew fill in some stabilizing rock in there. But it's just, it's undermining the bank as there's erosion all down the length. I don't remember the exact address, but it's like 186, 196, something like that. You know it. So just, it came to me a couple of times, a couple of people. So I just wanted to flag it. And I saw Superintendent Trainer out with the crew at the traffic circle today, looking over plans and conferring in a tableau that looked like a stock photo of a functioning water department. Looking over plans for a main, and that was very pleasing. I was driving down to check out the bridge and look at it, and there was work in action.
All right. Dave, anything?
Nope.
All right, I'm just gonna note a couple of things. Thanks again to the Cornwall Yacht Club for donating their boat slip. Congrats to the chief, assistant chief, and the other officers who were elected for our fire department.
Yep.
And thank you, Chief, for attending the Make-A-Wish ceremony, or gathering, I guess you could call it, up in Montgomery. Other than that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right, James.
I will be in tomorrow, Doris.
This is your first business meeting of the year, right?
Yeah, as the mayor, I've done it before when and Brendan didn't make it one time, like halfway through. But, yep.
There you go.
He said he never missed a meeting.
No, he came late, yeah, I think he came late or like quarter way through, halfway